Hello and welcome. My name is Stacy Biddle. I'm career facilitator for Goodwill Columbus, and with me is
My name is Brandy. Hi, I'm also a career facilitator at Goodwill Columbus.
We'd like to thank you for joining us today. We are doing a salute to Women's Month by bringing you two wonderful women who are in leadership roles and mentors to many in Goodwill Columbus. So please welcome Jennifer and Lynn. So Jennifer and Lynn, would you please just give us a little tidbit about who you are and what you do at Goodwill? Jennifer, we'll start with you.
All right. Hi, I am Jennifer Marshall. My title is Senior Vice President of Mission Impact and Strategy, and I'm really proud to lead our mission work here at Goodwill.
And I'm Lynn Legger. I'm the Senior Vice President of Retail and Business Services, which includes our unarmed security and custodial businesses at Goodwill.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you guys for introducing yourselves. What brought you to Goodwill?
Lynn, you want to start?
Sure. There were probably three reasons I ended up at Goodwill. One was I was looking for a role that allowed me to put all of my experience to work in a single environment, which was retail, supply chain, operations, and marketing. And Goodwill provided that. And then secondly, I do have a few members of my family who are autistic. And I have a strong belief in their support and work and helping them become really viable members of our society. And Goodwill supports that. So it was a very attractive. And then third is I really wanted to be local so that I would have more time for a work-life balance. And Goodwill Columbus actually provides that.
Great. And what brought me to Goodwill actually is Mary Vale, who was our Chief Mission Officer and has moved on to Ohio Health. But we had been longtime colleagues and worked really collaboratively across our organizations on the power of work. And when the initial role that I took to join Goodwill as Director of Workforce Development came open, I really saw the opportunity to work for a great organization and help us to build our impact.
Thank you.
And I thank you for being here and being wonderful leaders and mentors to us. Do you feel like you faced any barriers during your career path?
Since I started the last time, I'll take this one. I would say only one time did I have a challenge in my career path. I was very lucky. But even in that situation where there was an individual that created a barrier, the organization removed the barrier very quickly. So I've been very lucky that my career has been supported and I haven't had those challenges that many have.
Awesome. Thank you.
I would echo that sentiment. Certainly we all encounter obstacles along the way. I think where you put your focus is where your energy follows. So people who know me know that I'm an optimist and I'm always looking for the positive. So I don't perceive that I had barriers in my career path because I was a woman.
So with that being said, Lynn, let's start with you, Jennifer. Do you feel like being a woman affected your career trajectory?
Honestly, I do, and in a positive way. I think I've worked in the nonprofit industry sector for most of my career, and there was a need for different thinking and different approaches. And both as a woman and someone who is more analytical, more systems oriented, I think I benefited from that perspective, and it had a positive influence on my career trajectory.
Okay, and so what about you, Lynn?
My perspective's a little different. I grew up in a traditional retail world. I worked for Borders Books and Music back in the day for a long time, which was a very male-dominated business, the book publishing world back in the 80s. But I would say that I did not feel it ever affected my trajectory. it affected how I approached my trajectory. So learning how to really focus on being good at what you do, being prepared, be strong, walk into a meeting, have confidence, to garner the respect. It taught me how to do that. And that was necessary. So it did not hinder my trajectory at all, but it definitely taught me that you had to behave in a really confident, strong, knowledgeable, and it made me better, quite frankly.
Awesome. Thank you. What woman or women inspired you and why?
Maya Angelou was the first woman kind of outside of my sphere that I remember reading her books and being inspired by the stories that she told, and then learning about her and reading her poetry and her own overcoming of obstacles, and the way she turned that into words and stories was really powerful to me.
Thank you.
Mine is much more hands-on work. I worked for the most amazing woman. Her name is Kathy Meyer. She's since retired, but she was an executive with Walden Books and then became the president of Borders and was my mentor. She was brilliant. She took the time. She taught you, but yet she left you grow and figure things out on your own. And to this day, I will tell you that she is the greatest joy I've ever had in work. And the reason I was successful is purely her ability to train and teach and mentor. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So speaking of like successes, what work that you've been a part of that has been the most rewarding / successful to you?
I would say for me, it is the work that we do today, providing opportunities for individuals to achieve their potential and helping them to see what's possible. I can't imagine making a greater impact. And I think we do that in a variety of ways every single day.
Excellent.
And for me, I would say it's two things. One is I love to teach and influence. And so I have two things that allow me to do that. One is Goodwill, because I have such a large influence over the organization, because I have such a large workforce that reports into me, that I'm able to really spend a lot of time working on development and watching the people grow and achieve and succeed. And then secondly, I teach as an adjunct on the side, and that watching that the students progress and graduate is such an amazing thing for me. So that just watching progression of people's careers is so much fun. And I love that. And we do a lot of that here at Goodwill.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know you taught. Where do you teach?
I am an adjunct professor at West Virginia University.
Oh, very nice. Oh, very good. That's cool. We have a couple adjunct professors at Goodwill.
We do.
I know. I'm impressed. Okay, so what qualities make a good leader?
Honesty, transparency, listening, hearing not just the words, but the meaning behind the words from your team, and the recognition that 2 heads are better than 1, 10 are better than 2, and that everyone has something to contribute. And as a leader, I think you have a responsibility and tremendous tremendous opportunity to really demonstrate that in your everyday work with the team.
And I would just add to that versus echoing that, because I would agree with all of those statements. And I would add, a good leader has strength, inner strength, right? Is able to combat the challenges and feel like they can rise to all of them. They have a level of engagement, so you feel connected. And as an employee, you feel that they're approachable. And then adaptability, right? The world is an ever-changing environment. If COVID didn't teach us anything, if the leadership can't move and pivot, the teams can't move and pivot. So
Thank you.
So, what assumptions do you think people make about women and specifically women leaders that you would like to change?
Lynn, you want to try that one first?
sure. One of the things that I think I'd love to see changed is just that women are more emotional than men, right? Which is an inherent human trait in some cases, but quite frankly, women and men, right, both build relationships. We both need connection. We both need engagement, support, feedback, recognition. So I think really just understanding that it really is the employee and the skill that they bring, irrelevant of everything else.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I would very much echo all of those sentiments. And kind of back to earlier in the conversation, focus on the strengths of women. I'm not sure that we necessarily will convince someone that people are going to make assumptions. And I think we have an opportunity to demonstrate and model qualities that others want to emulate. And that's where we can make the greatest impact in our focus.
Thank you. We just have a couple more. I feel like we're grilling you, but it's really great talking and learning from you. So just a couple more. What do you believe will be the biggest challenge for the generation of women behind you?
I'll jump on that one. Expectations are really high. As equality becomes a major focus, as digital and social and the whole communication and sharing of everything that occurs is how we live today. The transparency of all that goes on makes it a lot harder to be anybody in the workplace and in society. So I think that transparency of everything you do, your work, your response to challenges, your ability to overcome them, I think will be the hardest thing as anybody comes up through the career path today.
Thank you.
Agreed. And I think as women and as people, really focusing on what's most important. As I live and experience life as a mom, a wife, a daughter, a leader in an organization, I constantly am reminded that we only get one shot at this. And so really focusing on what's most important and spending our time there to invest in people and relationships and making an impact is really important. And yet it's easy to get distracted and caught up with other things. So I think one of the ongoing struggles, especially in today's world with increased expectations and 24/7 communication, really is being true to yourself and staying focused with your energy.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it's interesting because you guys also answered what my next question was going to be, which was what advice you would give for the woman coming up after you. So what I'm going to ask is, where do you guys see yourself in maybe 5 years or 10 years? What would you like to be doing?
I'd like to be teaching full time. So I'd like to, get more into the teaching on a full-time basis into my next and final life.
Yeah. And in Goodwill set a goal in 2019 that our board adopted to equip 100,000 individuals with the tools to advance economic mobility through the power of work. And I want to see us living that out, really expanding our reach, expanding our abilities to support individuals and to get them on that path.
All right. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'm going to speak for myself, and then I'm sure I can speak for Stacy and say that this has been an enlightening conversation, and then for our audience. So thank you guys for paving the way and being such an example. And for our audience out there, we know you guys enjoy these discussions. They will be happening every single Friday on our panel discussions. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to all of our social media channels. That includes Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Strong.